All right. Yeah. I don't know what that yawn or noise from Buddy was, but whatever. Welcome. Welcome. If this is your first time to one of the streams, if you're watching this afterwards, that's totally understandable because this is super late at night, especially if you're from somewhere near me, because here is 12:30 in the morning. So it's this is definitely a late night stream. The reason I'm for one up this late and definitely have the energy to stream is I've been distro hopping a crap ton. I have tried out a ton of different things on my laptop, which I was going to hold it up and show it. I thought I was, but I have no idea where I moved it to. Probably put it in the closet. Yeah, bro, I don't even know. Anyway, I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff with it. It's a Dell G5 SE 5505. If that doesn't mean anything to you, good. Doesn't have to. Smig, how's it going? Yeah, welcome to the stream. So I've been doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. That computer hopping from Gentoo. I've hopped back to Arch. I've tried Calculate, Solus, various Ubuntu and Debian based distros, and it just wouldn't work. Either the audio would just be borked, or the video would go out to my ultra wide, but it would get like no video, like I don't know, like hardware encode. Like I have no idea what the term is, but the hardware acceleration, that's what it is. It was just like gone, and I would get one of those two errors, and so it made no, actually it's AMD through and through. It's like, it's actually a very new laptop. It has a Ryzen 7 4800U, or excuse me, 4800H in it, I believe, with so that has integrated graphics in it for one, but then it also has a dedicated RX 5600M in it as well. And so it's just it's a little weird. I hear Calculate, but he didn't want to try Gentoo. Hey, Chris. No, I didn't want to, but I actually installed Gentoo. I got Gentoo installed, and like I even hopped on, and me and Matt almost got to do the podcast today with me on Gentoo, but Gentoo still had the same issue. The audio didn't work. It actually on Gentoo it was far worse. Like the audio was actually just nowhere near functioning. No audio output worked properly. I'll put it like that. One was actually detected, but it was detected as the internal sound card, but then the only option for it was HDMI 1 output. So confusing, but that doesn't even matter because I couldn't fix that, issue because, well, audio wasn't even getting output to that device. It was selected showing, but I couldn't get audio to even output to this mysterious in between like hodgepodge of an audio device. But what I've done is actually just said, screw it. And I am back on my Gigabyte Brix. I could show you a picture of it. I could hold it up, although I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do that because I'll probably unplug. Knowing me and my luck, I'll just unplug this whole stream. But I'm using a Gigabyte Brix. If you don't know what that is, we can look it up here. But it's essentially just one of those, mini PCs. It's like a little block. It's sort of like a very squared off Intel NUC, if you've ever seen those devices. But mine is a very old model. It's got a 4-core AMD APU in it with the built-in graphics is Radeon HD 85050. Yeah, 8550G. That's what it is. Just rolls off the tongue. Have you tried disabling the dedicated GPU? Yes. There's actually a specific Arch page on the Dell G5 SE5505. Again, that just rolls right off the tongue. And it has some specific options there, like you can set one AMD GPU option, and I used that, and it did fix the random crashing that I was running on. But then again, the upgrade to the 5.13.1 kernel also does that too. But either way, if you compiled your own kernel, then it's often missing one or two codecs. Nope, I use the Gen kernel. Yeah, I did use the Gen kernel, and I mean, trust me when I say I followed a lot of the handbook, like in and out. I didn't do a damn thing to that system without reviewing the handbook, which is why I got essentially a completely working system. Like if it had been on any other piece of hardware, like essentially this Gigabyte Brix, like I could totally install Gentoo on this. The compile times would be a little bit long because it's an underpowered, like I'm pretty sure like every core here can turbo at like 3 gigahertz, I think, but I'm pretty sure their like base clock is 2.1 gigahertz. It's not great. Like literally I am streaming right now, and if I go in here and look at HTOP, what are we running at CPU wise? Okay, I'm seeing one core is pinned at 100. Okay, now it's changing. All right, one core is going at 86% to 90% in that range, while the other cores are about 50%. So CPU wise, it's not super fast. Also, to even be able to stream and record here on this PC, literally I have to take the encoder preset and take it to like the ultra fastest preset, just to be able to even do this. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm streaming in 720p to also, sort of just help with a thing. But I've streamed in 720p. Literally, if I hadn't have said that, I could guarantee you nobody would point it out, and I don't think anybody cares if I stream in 720 or 1080. Either way, they're both fine, especially for what I'm doing. I mean, we might dive in and show you stuff about the PC, but there's literally not much to show off. I've done some setup here. I've got DWM installed. Got it configured with a decent looking font. I've changed my terminal color scheme, but not to something fancy. It's slightly different than the Dracula color scheme, which if you don't know that, they have a website. You can go there and check it out. It's fantastic. It's a great color scheme. Highly recommend it. But the thing about switching back to this old computer is I just have to keep an eye on my performance. But it surprised me at just how much it can do. And at the same time, bro, it's like I've run into no issues, none. And with this hardware, it being as old as it is, I can go on any Linux distro and not have any issues. So that laptop can just eat shit, and I will just use a computer that I've had literally since like 2000. I don't know when this computer came out. It was like 2009 or something when I got this thing. But I'm streaming on it. It's working. Yippee-ki-yay. Um, I'm using an Intel NUC. Oh, yeah. I don't know about worse then. You'd have to share your specs because mine's pretty old. Now the most important question, did you compile Rust from source? No, I didn't get to a point where I was like, I need Rust now. Thankfully. I didn't install Firefox from source either. Even the binary file, like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if you haven't suffered through a Gentoo install, just so you know, just because you're going to download the binary version of Firefox doesn't mean it's going to emerge in like 2 minutes. All right, don't convince yourself of that shit. It will still take time. It just won't take 7 to 36 hours, you know. I don't even use 720 or 1080. I use 480. Hey, low spec Linux laptop was not Jeff. I do a podcast with him, by the way. You guys can check those out. Super great guy. Also, check out his channel in the podcast. Links to his stuff. He's a great guy. But he was streaming in like, I don't even know what, like 240 or something. Probably 360, but I have no idea. Before I sent him the Lenovo, but the funny thing is I sent him a laptop, and then also at the same time I took so long sending it to him, but by the time it actually arrived, he had almost basically finished building his Ryzen APU desktop. Joke's on you. My internet can barely handle 480. Santiago, how you doing? Did I hear DWM correctly? Yes, I am on DWM right now. I didn't go back to Rat Poison, not for any particular reason. I don't know. I did want the fancy window decorations and shit, so here I am on the bloated DWM, which dude, I feel like that typical like Linux like elitist meme where I genuinely think DWM has quite a bit of bloat in it, and it's literally suckless software. Like, because it has window borders and a nice fancy panel, and workspace is enabled and set up by default and all of that, I'm like, God, there's so much bloat in DWM, and that's just the most asinine thing in the world. Like, I cannot believe I've become this person, but hey, here I am. And yes, I also did patch it. Like, I've got like a handful of patches in here. One of them being full gaps, because again, I wanted the cutesy shit. My internet can handle 480. My PC cannot though. Dual core integrated graphics. Yeah, see, and I mean that's what I'm saying. I think I'm like extraordinarily spoiled. Like, going back to this thing and the fact that I didn't really think it would be capable of doing stuff that I wanted it to, I'm like, God, man, I'm too spoiled. Yeah. Did Fedora mess up on the laptop? Yes, it did. Not minorly, majorly. Pipewire started doing this absolute insanity where like I don't even know, 2 minutes, like maybe, like that's probably pushing it, but every minute, 2 minutes, it would just choose my microphone as the output device, and there was nothing I could do to get it to stop doing this. Just every minute or so often, I'd be watching like a video, make it like a minute, anywhere from like 30 seconds to like a minute and a half, up to 2 minutes, like all up in between here, a random time frame. It would just stop. The output would stop, and I'm like, oh, where's my audio gone? Or in a Discord call, oh, where's my audio gone? Well, here's where it's gone. It's gone literally into an input device, which because it's Pipewire and GNOME, you don't have the right to change it to a stereo input instead of a duplex, but whatever. It's only an input. Still okay. pipe wire and, you know, knows better than me, but still, yeah, it was a pain in the ass. I couldn't fix it. Apparently, so Chris, you're saying there's a Rust dash bin package. Apparently, there's a lot more binary packages for Gen 2 than I thought. Like, I figured it was only going to be for like some pretty big stuff, like, you know, Firefox. There's actually binary versions of quite a bit of stuff for Gen 2, which is interesting. By the way, I don't know how the audio is going to come out of here. Hopefully this is good audio. Let me know if I need to do anything to the audio whatsoever. Also, one thing is I'm definitely going to order some, like if I'm going to use this thing, if I decide to keep using this and like it as much as I'm liking it right now, I'm definitely ordering two 40 millimeter Noctua fans to go in this bitch, because the ones that are in here, I remember I modded this thing a long time ago because it was even worse. Like, it was loud and hot, but I figured out online that you could flip the fans around, and it actually, like, the way it pushed air through it was just as loud. Obviously, you're not changing the speed of the fans or anything, but it did keep it cooler. I need to put some Noctua fans in this thing, because it is, I mean, this thing is humming right now, which it's not going to bother me, but I don't know how much it's going to come through even with some noise suppression on. I was streaming text adventures at 960 by 540. Dude, I mean, that's sort of the thing. People don't necessarily come for high quality productions. Like, it's nice when you have a massive fan base where you could afford that production quality, but dude, you can make solid, great, awesome videos at 360p. I mean, we all know a great potato video, you know, we all do. If you're using AMD, you should give Wayland a shot. Here's going to be my argument to the Wayland thing on this PC right here. Almost anywhere I go where Wayland is going to be a thing, performance is not going to be good for me. Like, I'm telling you, a full desktop environment on this thing is not an option. Like, just in case I'm wrong, I'm going to go ahead and run HTOP here. I'm going to give it a few seconds because I know HTOP can be a little finicky when you first start it. It can throw off the CPU counts, but I'm one core is being almost completely used up at any given time. The other three are averaging about 50% usage, but going a little above that here and there. Sometimes two cores almost being used up. Again, neither of them being at 100%. Well, as soon as I say that, it spikes up to 100% on one core, but you know, you get what I'm saying. It can handle what I'm doing, but I don't know that I'm gonna trust a full desktop environment to be as performant as this is. Also, my CPU usage right now, or excuse me, CPU usage, my RAM usage right now is absolutely effing fantastic. I have got Qt browser and, I mean, OBS open in HTOP. That's it. But I've got, you know, the YouTube site and a pop-out chat window open. I'm only using 1.19 gig, 1.19, oh shit. Just 1.1 gigs or 1.2 if you want to be super accurate, super anal about it, of my almost 7 gigs. For some reason, I've got 8 gigs in here, but like almost 1.1 gigs is not detected. Don't ask me. I have no fun. Oh, I know why, dipshit. It's going to the APU. Duh. God. Bless my heart, man. Rat Poison is the most suckless window manager. I mean, it really is, and it honestly is really good. Given that it has the most off-putting and most disturbing name out there, if you can get past that, it's a great tiling window manager. Absolutely fantastic. Changing outputs randomly sounds like really good pulse simulation. Exactly. But see, here's the thing. Here on just Pulse, it's working fantastic. Like Pulse is just working on this hardware just amazingly. I have no issues. I've gone back, started using old hardware, and I'm having a much better time than on my very new, very fast, very overpowered hardware. So I think that laptop is just gonna sit back, collect dust for a while until it can get to a point that it's old enough that it's rock solid of an experience as this thing is. Okay, audio is a bit ahead of the video, not major. Let me know if anyone else is having that. Is the audio ahead of the video? Because that very well could be on my end. I might need to go in and enable buffering on the webcam. So I think I disabled buffering. Sometimes when I have buffering enabled on this webcam, it'll make the audio a bit after the webcam. Wayland seems more janky for me. I tried DWL, DWM for Wayland, and it seemed less responsive than just plain DWM. Yeah, I mean, I've never tried a tiling window manager on Wayland. Never have. Wayland for me, if I'm using Wayland, it's in a distribution that comes with a whole bunch of Wayland and Pipewire oriented stuff already, or something like Ubuntu maybe, because now it's using Wayland. But DWL is not production ready IMO. Wayfire and Sway are daily use ready ones. Yeah, see, I think Matt's actually going to check out Sway here before too long, and that'll be really interesting to see. I'd really like to know how he likes Sway. I don't know about Sway for me, because really, I mean, the whole point of Sway is that you're on Wayland, and I don't really have a reason to switch off from Xorg on this machine. It's working fine. It's totally fine. So why leave? I don't see a reason for it. Again, that's just me personally in that regard. But I'm still just absolutely blown away by this machine and its performance. I'm gonna go ahead and take a seat. But yeah, I mean, the computer's working fantastic. The ultra wide, I mean, here's the thing. I absolutely love my ultra wide. I absolutely love it. If you have a problem with ultra wides, why? Because they're awesome. The only problem with ultra wides is trying to record and make a YouTube video in an ultra wide format is a real pain in the ass. Because for some reason you would expect it to have black bars on the top. Like, I can understand that, but for some reason I recorded an ultra wide, or I tried streaming an ultra wide, like 2560 by 1080, and it just put black bars on the side and top. It like made it super small. It was real freaking weird. I don't know. Though I looked at DWL.c, and some parts it seemed as simple as DWM minus the added file for L roots, that is. Yeah, I've never tried it. And YouTube just bumped me down to 240p. Nice. Yee. Well, again, if anyone else is noticing any problems with the audio being weird. Let me know, because if multiple people are having or noticing that my audio is ahead of the video, that means it's on my end. So I want to get all this shiznit worked out so this works fine. I mean, that's ultimately the goal. Now I will go ahead. We'll pop over in here so you can see. Sounds and looks fine for me. Epic. So Matt, just in case you popped in here, you don't exactly know what's going on. I've stopped using my laptop. Just the new hardware and everything, it's gone. I'm using the Gigabyte Brix. It's an old brick system. Like, if you don't know what it is, it's like an Intel NUC, but just old as shit, with an 4-core AMD APU. It's not amazing, but it is absolutely performing just fine, and the ultra wide works, so worth it. Video inverted and you're talking backwards. Sorry. I think you're confusing this with the satanic stream that's coming up next week. That one's much requested. And also in that one, we'll be playing Tiptoe Through the Tulips backwards, and having a small Indian woman sing it. Cause dude, that would be super creepy. Dude, like a small tribal, like woman, like one of those tribal songs, but just done in like Tiptoe Through the God, if you've never heard that song, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, when I say Tiptoe Through the Tulips, it is the most like creepy ass song to listen to. It's disgusting. It is gives you goosebumps. The appeal of Wayland is the security it brings compared to X, where every app has access to your display and keystrokes. Yeah, but I don't really. When it comes to Xorg in this system, I like, if somebody is going to do something nefarious, like on my computer, and like violate like this computer's sacred security, I highly doubt it'll be through Xorg, because if we're being honest, the most likely vulnerability, point of failure in this computer's security is this dumb bastard right here. If we're just being honest, just there it is. I'm gonna make some coffee and try to catch something meteor shower. Too cloudy last night. Fewer clouds tonight. Wait, what? There's a meteor shower out where you are, and you get to watch it? Damn it, dude! My life is not as eventful as that. There's no meteor shower around here. Hold on, BTW. You should, or BTE, but I assume you mean BTW. You should check out Veeb web browser. What? I don't know what you mean. One of my favorite metal songs has some tribal aspects to it. I'm not saying there's anything like creepy about like tribal music in general, but if you listen to Tiptoe Through the Tulips and then you just imagine it being like redone as like some tribal or like ritualistic like song, that just goes over the top. It's like, oh, just disturbing. 59 to 100 meters per hour. Wait, really? If clear skies worldwide? What? How have I not heard of this? What? Meteor shout. What? Hold on. First things first. DuckDuckGo. No. Dark thing. DuckDuckGo. Come on now. You know better than this. You know better, DuckDuckGo. I don't have to tell you this. Persuade Meteor Shower 2021. Yo. So if it wasn't cloudy as thick out here, I could actually see this. Apparently, supposedly. I ain't seen no meteors last day or so. Interesting. Also very weird that I'm reading an article on CNN. I've never done that, as far as I know, in my life before. I actually read an article on CNN. I mean, I've been to CNN, but that's mainly like to test browsers. Be like, does CNN load? Because I don't know if any of you were here for that stream, but I literally checked out Surf. And the funniest thing about Surf is Surf will load Fox.com, like Fox News. It will load Fox News, but CNN will not load. It's the weirdest and, quite frankly, funniest thing on earth, because conspiracy theories will be made out of it for sure. Yes, it was meant to be BTW. I have fat fingers. Same. Veeb is a name of a VI-inspired Electron browser. That's what? The peak was last night. Oh, okay. Well, of course I missed out on the best part. Of course. So Veeb web browser. I can type Veeb, Vim bindings for the web by design. But what is it based off of? Features, privacy, accessible, security settings, window splittings, map, Veeb, set command, Vim compatible. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a Vim based browser, but the real question is what web engine is it using? This is very interesting. I don't know why I'm suddenly talking like a toddler, but yes, this is very interesting. It's based off Electron, so it's basically Chromium, but with Vim key bindings. Even extensions work. Interesting. Huh. No, I am not in search of a new browser right now. I do like Qt browser, but if I was going to recommend something, this would definitely be it. This is definitely interesting. I need to take this and just open up a or make a document inside of documents. We'll call it app recommendations, text file, and paste that link in there. That way I've got it for later. Like it. So now that I'm on this little system here, I do want to go ahead and ask you guys. So as long as you're comfortable. Let me know what you're running at your place. Like, what's your hardware, and what's your, you know, hardware. Like, you know, what you running, what you packing, bro. You packing that heat, you know, for your system? Is your system, you know, a Ferrari, or are you packing a Civic? You know, tell me what you got. Because, you know, me right now, I'm packing that. I don't even know what you'd call this. I mean, like, because, I mean, even a minivan isn't accurate, because that's, you know, big. So, I know what this is. Like my computer right now, if we're going to equate it to, you know, like cars and sports cars and stuff like that, my car right now is a Toyota Yaris. All right. It gets a shitload of gas to the mile. Okay. Or mile to the gallon. I don't know, man. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Don't expect accurate shit to come out of my mouth. But yeah, it's like a super small car that just goes far and far on little power, even though it was, you know, clearly designed from 2009. Funnily enough, I wanted to try out installing Linux on my 2012 MacBook Air. Surprisingly, literally everything worked out of the box. Arch BTW. Arch here. All right. I mean, we got to make sure everyone here. Hold on. Just let me make sure I don't like rip this cord out or anything. Everyone here just. I need you to know this. I'm using Arch. Okay. If you take anything away from this, just know I'm using Arch, okay? But yeah, Arch here too. It's running good. Again, I could probably put Gen 2 now on this thing, and I'd be happy with Gen 2, but I'm not down for the compile times on this little thing. But yeah, apparently just Linux on older hardware, man. It's just the way to go. It's the way to go. And as soon as apparently as soon as you've put Linux on older hardware, I don't even know why I upgraded from this. I have no idea. Guess I just assumed I needed more. Well, also probably game streaming was not as popular back then, because like now I can don't even have to worry about any Steam game that won't run. I can just stream to it. Not that big of a deal. Intel Nook, dual core, 2.16 gigahertz, 4 gigabytes of RAM, integrated graphics, running RTX. Interested in hopping to Alpine soon? Interesting. I would be very interested in hearing about your experience with Alpine. So stick around, watch, you know, me say stupid shit, and let me know how it goes with Alpine, because I'm definitely interested in that. Just so you know, compared to my system is a 4-core 2.1 gigahertz system with 8 gigabytes of RAM, not all of it accessible, of course, with integrated graphics as well. So we're close in performance there. I do have those extra nice threads, which is essentially probably the only reason I'm streaming half decently now. i5 9th generation with RX 580, nice, running Gen 2 and Wayland. That's what we call a dream, my friend. That's nice. Yeah, I find it very interesting that you don't have any issues running Wayland on a Gen 2 system. I would assume that comes with at least some quirks. I would just assume. Also, here's another thing that I find very, very intriguing. Okay, so we're going to discuss this together, okay? We're going to brainstorm and figure out what's going on here. So inside of my browser here, my mouse is absolutely massive. You can see it's actually as big as this B here in their logo. It's it's massive. I go outside of the window and it shrinks down to what I've got it set to. And so we pop over here and vim into my Exonet RC. You'll see that I'm actually loading the X resources file here in my Exonet RC. And if I vim my X resources file, you'll see we've got the, I've got the color scheme I'm using put in here, but that's beside the point. At the very bottom down here, you'll see X cursor, size set to 32, and theme Adwaita. And for some reason, inside of this program, it just says, screw you, man, and does its own thing. And I've done a reboot. And XRDB, ran the command myself, and I don't know what's going on. But that's whole nother tangent. The best part is the CPU on this thing matches up with tablet processors of its time, and it's running the best it's ever been. Yeah. Actually, that is going to be my next question. Could you spit out the actual specs of what a MacBook 2012 is? Like what processor you've got and what amount of RAM you've got in that thing? How long did it take to compile the kernel, or maybe Firefox / Chromium if you didn't use the binary? Well, since I didn't compile Firefox or anything like that, I just didn't have time. I literally started installing Gentoo at 9 p.m. Yesterday, so I had until 2 p.m. today to finish and be ready to do the podcast. So I have no idea how long Firefox would take to compile, but I will tell you the Gen kernel installing did take at least a few hours. I think it took a couple hours. But yeah, it did take a bit. The Gen kernel was actually not fast one bit, which they do specify that because it's got support for a lot of shit in there. So actually, Wayland is easier to set up than X since you type sway in command line and it just works instead of some start X script. Okay. It is a weird ass bug. It is. Ooh. That's epic, man. Just being able to walk outside to see the Milky Way, that's so nice. There's Gentoo kernel dash fit, but there is. Let me Google it. Okay, thank you. The beast is running CPU 1.8 gigahertz dual core Intel Core i5, and the RAM is 4 gigabytes at 1600 megahertz. Interesting. What do you do on the thing? Do you do anything that pushes it to its limit, or are you just web browsing on the thing? Because I will say one thing about this PC. The one thing that makes it very snappy is it does have an mSATA SSD in it. So it does essentially just have a regular SSD in it. And thank God. That makes it so much more responsive compared to a hard drive. Here is one thing I will just go ahead and say. If you are, no matter what hardware you're running in this day and age, and you don't have an SSD in it, Jesus, dude, buy an SSD. They're like $30. Get a 240 gigabyte SSD and slap it in that bitch. It will get 3 times faster. It still probably won't be lightning responsive just because of the dual core, or even this wimpy quad core in here. Like, don't get me wrong, having quad core is very nice, but it's still not, it's not a fast quad core processor. So like, it's not like I'm, you know, having overwhelming amounts of performance here available to me, but the SSD makes loads of difference. There is no reason in 2021 to not own an SSD. I mean, the one that's in this thing is only 110 gigs. And out of my Arch install here, I've got Discord, Telegram, all my shit installed. And GIMP, OBS, all of my shit is installed. I did not copy over all of my data because that would essentially fill it up. I could maybe install a very small game on top of it. But if I load up my file browser, which I also need to theme it because this is a Dwayta icon set and just white as all hell, which needs to be changed. But you can see I've still got 96 gigs free. I can definitely plop a couple of games on here and still have plenty of room to work with. Now I'm not going to be installing AAA games, but you know, of course, you know, it's not a gaming PC by any stretch of the mean. I mean, this was marketed as a gaming PC back in 2009 or whenever it was I bought it, but literally just browsing on this machine. Back in college, it was my only machine, so I'd be building Android apps, all my comp sci, homework, maybe some gaming, yeah. I mean, I know I used to play Minecraft on this thing. I'd be very interested to see how Minecraft performance is on here. What are you doing, buddy? What you doing? Yeah. Do you have ZRAM, ZSwap set up? Cool to set up to not waste them precious reads and writes on your MSATA SSD. No, I do not know what ZRAM and ZSwap is. Interesting. I don't have an SSD. I don't mind though, since this thing boots up in like 5 seconds, which is all I care about. I mean, true. Like, I mean, again, like Linux boot times even on a hard drive aren't bad. Now, I will say this. Sorry, Chris, it retracted your message, so definitely never mind. I can't read that. But here's the thing. I have extra SSDs, not great ones, but if you have like a PO box or something like that you want to share, you know, privately or something like that, I will ship you. It's not going to be a great SSD, but I'll ship you a El Cheapo one. Yeah, what's up, buddy? What? I think he's hungry. I'm not sure. What? What, doofus? What? Yeah. What? You want some food? All right, hold on. Get back. Ooh. Give me 1 second. I think Buddy wants some food. I'm not sure. Hold on. I'll just stay at the desk up. Why not? What? Oh, hey, I'll give you some food. All right. Give him some food. I think that's what he wants. Not positive, but you know, I think so. Switch this back over to just the camera. Why not? TMPFS in Portage. As far as I know, I mean, most things are available through Portage. I'd be surprised if it's not. Like, I mean, even Discord, like even a binary version of Discord was available through Portage. So most software's in there. Kind of wish I had Linux on this machine back then, because it would have made my life an eternity easier. Yeah. I mean, we all wish we started using Linux earlier. Now, that being said, I don't know that it's accurate that we would have enjoyed it as much back then, just because, hardware support is not nearly as rock solid as it is now, especially for hardware that's even minorly out of date. I'm still interested, since I'm looking into compiling using TMPF/CRAM. CRAM is compressed RAM. A better RAM disk. It's great if you have enough. It's great if you have enough RAM, because it's way faster than SSD. Oh yeah, yeah. The problem though is this machine definitely doesn't have enough RAM for that. Definitely. Now, so when it comes to lower end systems, I am very intrigued to see how this thing does with doing light gaming on it while here in streaming and stuff. So I think we're actually going to do it. So that being said, what's a good, performant game for us to try here to see how it performs while streaming? Launch Hitman 2 on that bad boy right now. Right now. Hitman 2? Well, for one, here's the thing. As far as I know, I don't even own Hitman 2. Actually, no, I take that back. I know I don't own Hitman 2. Let's see. How much is Hitman 2 on Steam? Okay, on Steam, it is... Wait, what? Okay, so apparently there's a... this is retarded, but okay. There's a Hitman 2 starter pack. I did not know this, but you gain free access to the first mission in Hitman 2. Didn't know that you could get the first mission in Hitman 2 for completely free on Steam, but epic. It's in $90 to get the gold edition. The standard edition is only $60. And Hitman 2 is one of those games where I'm just surprised that it's still as much as it is, because it did come out in 2018. But this is definitely what we need to be playing here. I'm looking at the graphics here, and Hitman 2 is, if you're unfamiliar with what Hitman 2 is, it's a game that didn't come out in 2018. It came out in 1998. No, I'm just kidding. I'm making up bullshit now, trying to throw you off. No, it's a very good looking AAA title that definitely won't run well here. Gotcha. Max settings, but can it run Crisis while streaming? I can already answer that one. No. No. It can beg for mercy. That's about all it could do. Yeah. Tomb Raider Legend. We'll see. Here's the thing. I definitely don't own that. But here's the thing. We can look at these games, Tomb Raider Legends, here, on stuff like G2A, because I mean, I'm sure. Are you kidding? Who is selling Tomb Raider Legend on G2A for almost $10? Come on now. Come on now. This is G2A. I should be able to get this shit for like 19 cents. Tomb Raider Legends. If I can type Legends. Just now realized I'm not showing my screen. Tomb Raider Legends Steam Key Global for $1.53. Totally doable, but I have a feeling that I can do better. Let's see, do as Pacman -S. I need to install. So I don't think I actually installed Steam. Like 90% sure I didn't. Yep, I didn't. Now, I mean, obviously I've got multi-lib and all of that stuff set up, so none of that's going to be an issue. I just need to install Steam and, you know, well, I need to install Steam and get it set up. That's it. Newer version of Minecraft. Wait, hold on. What? Newer version of Minecraft. Upgraded OpenGL. Let's hope it's up to spec. Yeah. I mean, we could also try checking out Minecraft. I mean, that is one thing we could do. See if if this thing can handle Minecraft while streaming. Because I mean, it is using up a lot of core. I don't know. That might be I have no idea. For all I know, I could try and run Minecraft on this thing and it absolutely cripple this machine while streaming. Do as a man of culture, you know. I try, you know. I think do as is the way of the future, and quite frankly, the enlightened way of system privileges. Because let's be honest, who needs a config file longer than 3 words? It's absolutely perfect. Real men use SU. Oh, dude. I ain't gonna be SUing all the time. That's for damn sure. Okay, so I got Steam installed. So now let me just open up Steam real quick and dirty here. I'll have to do a little bit of login, you know. No problem. No problem. Can Dewey Spadoodly, all right? I am absolutely professional when it comes to Steam, okay? Yeah, buddy. I mean, dude, I mean, he is like all over the place. But how have you guys been recently? All you guys been doing good? You had any interesting things happen recently? You tried anything completely new and out there in the Linux world? Possibly? Or you've been trying to avoid issues like me, where you are hopping all over the place and trying a ton of different shit and changing computers entirely. Buddy is just tearing up his shit. Like, I mean, if y'all were to actually be able to see my floor right now, it is covered. Like I gave him these rope like toys, and he has broken them apart, disintegrated them across this room. There's just like little bits of toys, like remains around here. Essentially, if his toys were people, they're disfigured and chopped into bits and tossed across my room. So yeah, that's That's like a nightmarish thing to think about. I don't know. It's 1:30 in the morning, man. I have no idea. I've been going for a while. I had to mow the yard today, and I'm gonna have to finish up this morning. It was hotter than a balls twat outside. It was hot and muggy. I accidentally did a partial update yesterday. Wait, hold on. How do you accidentally do a partial update? And what does that mean? Okay. Steam, epic. Log in to an existing account. That's where it's at. Shit. Cancel. I need to make it remember my password. Yes, because that is absolutely critical. Now let's see, I'll just quickly check my email here, and that is the code right there. All right, finish, and I should be in my Steam account. Pasta Brew, hell yeah. Your boy is in his Steam account. Let me resize the scene window. What is this? Why is okay? Steam Friends window just popped up and took up the whole screen. Just epic. Now let me switch back over here. Perfect. And here we are. We have Steam installed. And I've got access to all of these fantastic games. Oh, you know what we might try? Now, I've tried this again in the past. We might try something like Killing Floor. Because Killing Floor was made quite a while ago. It's really performant. I think we'll try Killing Floor. I think we'll try Killing Floor. Because that's really good. Really good game. Question. Killing Floor. Do any of you guys have it? Have any of you guys played it before? Let me see how much Killing Floor is. Oh. GTA or G2A? Killing Floor. Killing Floor 2 is available for just $3. Yeet. Okay, let me just go ahead and tell you boys something. Killing Floor 2 is an amazing looking game. If you can, this is insane. Okay, so let me just point you guys to a deal. Go to G2A. Just go to G2A. All right, there's no acceptable reason not to do this. If you have $5 right now, it's about to be burnt and well spent. Buy Killing Floor 2 and 1 for $5 on G2A. You're welcome. Do it. You deserve it. I get why Valve encourages Proton support over native Linux. Was Land Scorched 3D? It ended up running on Windows version on all machines, cross-platform but not cross-play. Yeah, I mean, I understand it. It makes sense. Also, to be honest, I mean, if we're being real, almost all the time, the Proton version works better than the native version. There's exceptions to that, but generally that's the case. If it works through Proton, it probably performs better, just normally. I mean, as long as Proton doesn't really make the game weird or performance doesn't drop, I don't mind having a non-native. Same, it doesn't bother me. Also, like, I mean, I get the whole like scary part as a FOSS person. Like, well, what if no more FOSS games are made? Like, that's not going to be a thing. And two, game developers already don't want to make like and handle building for different Linux versions and all of that shit. So if you can completely remove that and tell a game developer like, hey, look, don't even worry about porting your game over to the platform. Like, the platform takes care of it for you. Like, you just build your game for Windows and we'll make sure it works here. Like, that's a really good system. It's a really good system. And Valve does seem, oriented towards making that a reality. So that's epic. But yeah, again, purchase Killing Floor 2 and Killing Floor 1 for $5. Or just buy the original Killing Floor. To be honest, if you only have $2, Killing Floor, go for it. It's fantastic. Like, absolutely treat yourself. Sorry, gotta plug my vape in. Buddy, go lay down, man. Come on. Come on. Like, he's almost more awake than I am. Okay, so the download here is not going extremely fast. We'll say that. I don't know what it is about this Wi-Fi card here, but like on my other computer, Steam normally averages like 12 to 24 megabits per second down. Here we're only getting like 4, and I remember that about this computer. The Wi-Fi card in it is not like exceptionally fast or anything. Whenever I Google anything about these Steam key marketplaces, I hear nothing bad, but I'm 3 Steam keys deep and nothing bad's happened yet. Yeah, I've never had a problem with G2A. Never. Never. And I mean, I've gotten quite a few games from G2A. It's not like my whole library comes from G2A, but I've gotten quite a few games from G2A. Though once people see the power of Linux through the Steam Deck and start switching to Linux, and thus Linux having 100% of the desktop market, I'm sure we'll have lots of native Linux games. Well, see, here's the thing. When it comes to 100% of the desktop market share, that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. And us becoming like, here's the thing. Linux does not benefit from having a shitload more users on it and using it. It doesn't. There's a chance for us to gain developers that way, but we don't necessarily benefit outright from just having more users. Microsoft, like Windows and Mac, like the reason there are whole articles written about their market share is because it matters very much to them how they are doing in the market. Linux doesn't. We don't have to worry about that shit. We don't. And here's the thing too, when it comes to becoming a dominant market share, there's more problems than benefits for Linux. When we become a dominant market share, malware and Linux attacks will become much, much more prevalent because it'll be more worthwhile because more people, if most people run Linux, then that means most viruses will be made for Linux. Now, Linux is inherently more secure than something like obviously Windows, but that being said, right now we enjoy essentially a bliss, with almost no malware being existent for Linux out there, unless it's hyper specialized. So yeah, I don't know. We don't really need the whole Linux market. Like, that's why it doesn't really matter to me if new people start using Linux. It doesn't affect me in any way. The only thing I will say is, I mean, it's good for the person who switches to Linux. The end user will enjoy it. I mean, most likely enjoy it way more. And, well, it doesn't treat them like shit. So yeah, it's good for them, but Linux itself doesn't benefit from having more end users. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, you do sort of feel like you're on the fringe when you're using Linux or a Unix based operating system, because you're not really, you're not the mainstream one bit. And that's sort of the problem too. When Linux becomes mainstream, people will just start moving to BSD. Like, that will happen. Most people, like, kids. Now, I'm not saying this for sure, but I just am predicting that I have a feeling that most people, if Linux becomes way too popular, people will probably move over to OpenBSD, just because Linux gets polluted with, as Luke Smith would put them, soy devs. But, you know, just developers making, I mean, we all know just how many shitty Windows developers are out there who like whip together a program and think they're hot shit, and in Windows world they essentially are. But just imagine when all of those people are making your interesting and neat little GitLab projects. Like, great. I guess a more substantial market share for Linux would give hardware manufacturers more of an incentive to prioritize Linux as much as Windows/iOS. I am going to debunk that right now, real quick. Okay, so let's say you have 100 people who are guaranteed to pay you money, and a group of 100 people who are most likely gonna donate at some point in their life. Which group do you focus on? You focus on the group who's guaranteed to pay your ass money. That's who you focus on. Windows is guaranteed to make you money off of licenses and all of that shit. That's why driver manufacturers will focus and continue to prioritize Windows, because Windows will pay them to put them first. Linux is not going to shell out money to make Nvidia do what they should do in the first. Like, think about it like this. Like, Linux is not going to, there's not going to be a foundation in the Linux space that is going to pay Nvidia to do a half decent effing job on their drivers. But go lay down. Get out of there. Like, there's for one, it should be degrading to Nvidia that I'm making this statement right now. That it literally, it's not our job to pay them to be nice. And no one's going to do it. So yeah, it's you're not really, just because we're popular doesn't mean people are going to start putting us first. Windows and Microsoft, Apple, Mac OS, like, these are always going to be prioritized because they'll pay to be prioritized. And we just, yeah, you said it right there. Money speaks. Money speaks. That's really what it is. I mean, it would be nice if we lived in a world where the better thing got attention, but if that's the world that we lived in, Linux would be the most popular, I almost said distribution, operating system out there, but it's not. We live in a world where the world really does revolve around money. I mean, it really does. As much as some hardcore FOSS people would have you believe that, you know, it truly doesn't. It runs off unicorn farts and cocaine. It's money. That's it. I mean, I genuinely do wish having more market share mattered, but it just doesn't. Now, here's the thing. I think the Steam Deck will ensure that a lot of people who wouldn't have ever given Linux a try do give it a try. And that is good for them. That is good for the end user. Also, Valve making the Steam Deck does directly benefit Linux gaming. And that I am all for. And see, here's the thing too, like a lot of people are like, Valve's going to do something nefarious, or, you know, like Valve's going to do something shady or whatever. They're like, what if Valve stops helping? Like, here's the thing. Proton is open source. There's already other people. Glorious Eggroll is already doing his own shit with Proton. There's TKG or whatever his name is, who's also doing some work. Like, Proton will continue to be a thing. Gaming in Linux will continue to have been majorly improved because of Valve's work. If Valve disappears tomorrow, the only thing that's going to happen is I'm going to lose my very valuable Steam library. But that being said, Valve's not going anywhere, and Valve is literally the only, like, people need to stop being so worried about Valve. Like, especially when it comes to the FOSS and open source community, Valve is the only company that seems to understand how to deal and work with us for their benefit and our benefit. Like, Valve is the one company doing the right shit for the platform. Just come on. They're the one company doing great things for Linux. If Linux is the majority, wouldn't companies like NVIDIA be interested in making better drivers for Linux to show that they... Hold on. I have to read this out loud because I'm going to break it down. If Linux is the majority, wouldn't companies like NVIDIA be interested in making better drivers for Linux to show that, hey, our hardware supports Linux, and people would buy them? Here's the thing. NVIDIA already makes the best drivers for Linux. They're just proprietary. And the thing about NVIDIA is you can look at it two different ways when it comes to NVIDIA, because NVIDIA has gotten very, like, NVIDIA is a company that does understand PR. They really do. And if you think about it, the only really like hyper negative PR that NVIDIA receives consistently is their proprietary driver status. So for a company who understands PR, it doesn't exactly make sense that they continue to keep their drivers proprietary when, one, it would directly benefit them to make it open source, because if it was open source, they wouldn't necessarily have to pay as many developers and keep on as many developers that they have now for developing the drivers. They probably would, to ensure that they're still continually better from the get-go than AMD's are, but buddy just threw a shoe into the wall. But they probably will keep on the same amount of developers, and I mean, I would hope they would, but anyway, so it benefits them to make them open source. So why probably wouldn't they? Well, if you read around online, it's been theorized, and I don't know that it's been confirmed, but there's a good chance that there's some code that they're using in their drivers that is like, they actually don't own the actual license for it. So even though they might be able to make their part of the NVIDIA driver open source, there's a good chance that there's code in it that they can't make open source because they actually don't even own the license for it. that's the best reasoning I've heard for NVIDIA continuing to not make their drivers open source. And also, here's one thing I will say. NVIDIA, again, is a company that knows PR, they know marketing, and when they literally have a figure like Linus Torvalds saying fuck them because they're so difficult to deal with, I still find it very difficult to believe that they don't want to make it open source. I feel like it's one of those things that they would do if they could. Again, that's me theorizing on why, but I think that's why. I really do. I think that's why. Okay, so Killing Floor, I did just check. It is actually done. It is done. So I can dive right down into Killing Floor now if we are ready. So just let me know. Are you guys ready to dive into Killing Floor, or do you want to keep talking for a bit? Because who knows? I could load up Killing Floor and it just absolutely cripple this machine. Because already it seems like I'm watching the YouTube playback here, and it seems a little choppy. I don't know if you're experiencing that, but for me it seems decently choppy. I don't know. Might as well load up the game. All right. Well then, let me switch back over to the main scene. Buddy is just destroying a toy. Okay, we gotta process these Vulkan shade. Okay, it's done. All right, abnormally quick. Let's get some co-op survival horror up in here. There's nothing like some good survival horror, you know? I'm having like a caffeinated energy drink. And Delta 8 at the same time. Okay, my monitor literally just shut off. Like, yeah, it's telling me out of range. I don't even know what that means. Okay, so starting Killing Floor was not a good idea. Like, I don't know what you guys are seeing at all. Let me look at YouTube on my phone. Okay. Seems to be frozen. Epic. Okay. So. Now I'm dropping frames like crazy. Why am I dropping frames so much? What? I mean, I'm literally dropping like 100 frames every second. What the hell? And my output rate is so tiny. What the hell is drop frames? Instant. I literally don't even know what to say right now. I have no idea how this is happening. Like, I'm connected to my 5 gigahertz network. I'm speechless right now. I don't know how I'm dropping so many frames. I don't know. I'm not even, it's not even like I'm using up that much more RAM. Or I mean, not RAM, but CPU. Like, my CPU is fine. But I'm dropping frames like absolute. Drop frames. 30, 40, 90, 100. Like, I'm... What the fudgum buckums is going on? I have no idea what's going on. I don't know why. Why am I dropping so many frames? Well, the stream's not broken. It keeps going in and out because I'm dropping like so many frames per second. I've already hit over 1,000 dropped frames per second. I'm dropping about 86% of my frames. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did a restart already. I just didn't let it cool off for any period of time. Hold on. If I do a sensors check, I mean, they're only at 76 degrees, which I mean, it's not cool, but it's not ridiculously high either. Not even hitting the 80 degree mark. But yeah, I'm dropping an insane amount of frames. So, all right, boys, I'll just, I guess we will call it a night here. Don't try gaming on